Friday,
Erev Shabbos.
26th of Elul, 19th of September, verse 11, Yud Aleph. Ki mitzvah zois asher anoichem tzavchem. For this mitzvah, they say these commandments, but the proper translation is this mitzvah, singular, that I'm commanding you today, lo neflesi mimcha. It is not, I need a chumash. It is not neflesi. It's not, it's an unusual word, Rashi will translate it, but it means it's not concealed from you. For they are not concealed from you, nor is it far away. Just incidentally, this is why we have issues with the Chayinu verse translation. We like the Rashi because I don't know where they get their liberties to do certain things.
Yeah,
It's not plural, and particularly it says in here in the Kahas Uzdan edition. This is referring particularly to the study of Torah.
Whoa.
The Rebbe explains that this is really, you may think that recalling the true setting for studying Torah and performing God's commandments is the land of Israel, right? The place you can do the full Torah is Israel. You can't do it in that diaspora fully. You might think, therefore, since you can't be a full Jew out when you're in diaspora, in exile, then maybe you shouldn't study, you don't have to study Torah. So this verse is coming to say, no, this mitzvah singular, to study Torah, it is not remote from you, no matter where you are. It's not concealed from you. It's not even so far away that you have to go learn it somewhere else.
Oh man.
Interesting. Let's see the Rashi.
Singular in the Chumash.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It is singular. So the Kahas Chumash explains according to the Rebbe's interpretation, and I didn't see this. I didn't look at the source, but it's saying the singular mitzvah is the study of Torah, because you might think that in exile you can't do the mitzvahs fully, so maybe you can't study the Torah, right? Right? Could you study the rule book of what was it called? The Confederates now? It would be silly to study the rule book of the Confederate South. It's obsolete. So you might think when you're in exile, since you can't do certain mitzvahs, the Torah is kind of it's a nice museum artifact. You can't really study it. You can't study the laws of the Karbanis. You can't. So he says, no, even in exile, it is not concealed from you, nor is it far away that you have to even go from one land to the next. Rashi. The term nefles is an unusual word, so Rashi translates it as, it means mechus, it's not concealed from you. As we see in the term in Onkelos, ki palei, areyis kasei, v'ater ployim, v'ater ma'admenius, mechus chavosh, that means hidden, locked up, and all that. Okay. Yud Beis. Loi b'shamayim hi. The Torah is not in the heavens. It is not. This mitzvah, which we said is Torah study, it is not in the heavens. Miya lalanu Hashem, the lamer that one should say, Miya lalanu Hashemayma b'kachel lanu. Who will go up to the heavens and fetch them for us? Yashmenu Esav nasena, and impart them to us so that we may do them. Who go to the heavens and fetch them, and impart them to us so we may do them. Okay, Rashi. It's not in the heavens. For if they were in the heavens, you would have to go up and learn it there. It means even the Torah was spiritual and not given such practical language, you could have had a prophet go up and get it and then repackage it for you. So just to continue, it says the way the Rabbi translates this verse is the continuation of, in other words, 12. Here's just in the Kahas Chumash. If the vagrancy of exile leads you very far from the land of Israel, right? You're exiled far away. to countries located at the end of the heavens. By the way, that was your question yesterday. Someone asked that. Right? Because this is a continuation of yesterday. We said even if it's what was yesterday, you'll heed your voice, and then God will take you from. It was yesterday, the day before.
Yesterday. I think it
I
said
think it was the day
wide,
before,
wide
maybe.
is the.
It was the day before. Basically, if once you're in exile and you're exiled to the ends of the heavens, meaning you're far away from home, from Israel, then that's what we're talking about. So he's saying even if you settle far away at the end of the heaven, quote unquote, as we said earlier in verse 4, you should not think the Torah is accessible only in your homeland, which is at the other end of the heavens. See, the Rebbe translates a little different the way Rashi is. They should say, who will go up to heaven for us to fetch it, to expound to us so we can fulfill it. So it's interesting. The way, I really have to look this through to understand it, but the Rebbe is understanding a little differently in the way we understand Rashi at face value.
What's the difference?
If you read Rashi, it's like this. The Torah or the mitzvahs. It doesn't say something in the Torah. I really have to look up the source to see where the Rebbe's back and forth is. The still meaning is the mitzvahs are not they're not secret. They're not they're not far from you. They're not overly spiritual that you can't access them. They're very they're very accessible.
It's Rashi or the.
That's Rashi. It's a simple way I understand it.
Okay.
I simply.
All
The way the Rebbe is explaining it, which I'm sure the Rebbe takes into account Rashi, so you have to see it, is that it's particularly talking about the mitzvah of Torah study, which you might have a thought that this is because it's, really, it's the rule book in full for Israel temple times. When you're in exile, you might be able to learn the rule book, only parts of it are, accessible or relevant. He says, no, even in exile, you got to do it. You got to learn the Torah always, the whole Torah. Top of that is that even if you're so far away from one end of the earth, that Israel seems like the other end of the heavens. You understand? Heavens is you say, who's going to go to heaven to Israel to go learn get us the Torah? Continuing Yud Gimel, v'lo me'ever le'ami, the Torah, nor is it across the sea. Lema, you should say, mi aver lonos evrayam, who will cross the sea and fetch it for us, and impart them to us so that we may do them. Rashi, lema evrayam, no Rashi. Yudalad, ki karov elecha hadavar ma'od, for this thing is very near to you. Beficha in your mouth, bevavcha in your heart, la'asaisa to do it. Rashi, karov elecha, for it is very close to you. The Torah was given to you in writing and orally. It's I guess that's the proves from the Torah, because saying it's very near because you have it's spelled out in the written verses and the oral verses, and therefore it's always accessible to study it and do it, even if you're in exile. The way the Rebbe explains it in here is, even if 13 is the way 13 is actually saying that 12 is if you're far away, you're I don't know, you're in America, you're far away, right? Don't think you have to go overseas to get it. 13 says, even if you settle somewhere closer to Israel, where Israel's accessible by sea, it's in Turkey, you settle in Turkey, let's say, Constantinople. You should not even think the Torah is beyond the sea, that who's going to go. You don't have to go to Israel to access Torah, is what he's saying. And even if studying the Torah did entail such a voyage, you'd have to make it. But it does not. Understand, the way, I have to look up the Sikha the Rebbe is talking about, but it's like, all the excuses a person says, like, I don't know what to do. Like, it's too esoteric. I don't know. It's for the scholars in Israel. I'm in exile far away, or I'm close by. I can't do it on my own. So the Chumash is saying, first of all, indeed, if the Torah was on the moon, you'd have to go to the moon somehow, or to over to the other end of the earth. You got to send somebody to go get it and learn and teach in your locale. But it's not. It's accessible wherever you are.
No excuses.
No excuses. God has placed this explanation in your mouth and in your heart in the form of the oral Torah, so you can fulfill it correctly and confidently. This is actually, it seems like from here, there's two different sichas it's quoting. I have to look it up. But the Torah is really, it's a lot to learn Torah. But if the book is ready to go. And I would add to that the way the Rebbe gave us the gift of the daily study of Chitas and the daily study of Rambam, there's literally anybody, even no Jewish education, puts in the time, the half hour a day, you will study the whole Torah.
Wow.
That was the Rebbe's vision, that everybody has to be a basic constitutional scholar of Judaism. At the very basic. You can have specialists. You don't have to be a specialist. You got to be a basic constitutional lawyer of Judaism.
Oh, man.
Like Civics 101
Civics 101.
in high school, the way it used
But
to.
yeah,